Hey everybody, Darren here, and welcome back to Satisfactory. Now in the last episode, I began working on my new fused modular frame factory by building the base structure and the train stations, and then working on extracting resources that were necessary to feed into the facility, such as nitrogen gas. That's going to be used in a blender as part of the final product for the fused modular frames. Now today, we're going to get to work on actually placing the first set of machines, now that the resources are largely here. And there is a lot. I had said that the target for this place originally was 11.25 heavy modular frames per minute, but I decided to increase it. I wanted a bit of a challenge, plus it's probably necessary. So we're going to up it by about 3 times. So the new target is now 36 heavy modular frames per minute, and of that 36, we're going to break away 16 and create 16 fused modular frames. So let's begin. Now, of course, when you're increasing the output so drastically, you're going to have a dramatic increase at the base level of the, base resources that you're going to require coming into the factory. Now, for the most part, I've brought everything in, but I thought I would just show an example. Previously, here at the water extraction area, we had 2 water extractors. Now, we've got 7. And instead of just 1 simple pipe, we've now got 3. So there's 2 here, and there's 1 underneath here that's a bit separate. So these are doing about 180 each, I believe, and then this one is slightly less than that. There's a reason for it. We'll talk about it all a little later. So effectively, I just thought it was a good showcase of how 3 pipes are now necessary instead of 1. And that is just a great example of how when you start to increase the numbers, the logistics of things just go out of control. So the 3 pipes are there. Now, of course, it's not just that had to increase everything. We now need, something like 2,000 plus iron ore per minute. I had previously said that this whole place was going to operate on 1 belt per resource. 780 was never going to be reached by anything, so it meant that we were totally fine. But now, as you can see, we're going to be dealing with much larger volumes of goods. We're going to have 2,300 steel ingots, for instance. So it's going to need several belts to sort it all out, divide it up into its respective machines and stuff like that. So I built this little, this is basically just a reflection of my Excel sheet. And I haven't fully completed it. It doesn't go all the way towards the blenders and manufacturers or the assemblers even, because I was just a bit too lazy to keep pumping all these numbers in here. But to talk through it just very, very quickly, how it's laid out, we have what the machine type is on top. So it's a foundry. We need 6 and almost a half foundries. So 7 foundries, and one of them underclocked to 40%. The input's going to be iron ore, copper ore, and then the output is going to be iron ingots. Those iron ingots are going to go down here into constructors. We're going to need about 11 of them, and we're going to have 320 iron turned into 213 iron plates. If we move over, we have another set of foundries, 24 foundries, taking in pretty much 1,800 iron ore and 1,800 petroleum coke for an output of pretty much 2,400 steel ingots. That's going to go down into a constructor, 80 of them, and then that's going to be turned into steel pipes. And those steel pipes are going to be used in a load of different things. We're also going to have refineries mixing with water, copper ore to give us the ingots, limestone with water to give us concrete, and then down here we have copper just going into wire. I just noticed as well, actually, we can just fix those signs. So it's just an example of how I was trying to keep it simple. It just seemed like the rates were probably a bit too small for the future. And by increasing the rates, it means that we're going to be building for a lot longer in this particular place. So fused modular frames are going to take a while. Now, the only thing we're missing is petroleum coke. But I've gone ahead in between episodes and pretty much lined everything up we need to be able to just extract some extra oil, get some petroleum coke going, and deliver it here. So in between episodes, like I said, I've added the 3 pipes now. We've also increased, and I was just kind of playing around with aesthetics here. Changed how the different ores are, the rates that they're making and what they're going up to. So I think another thing we're a little short on is copper. So copper might be something I'll have to get from a different factory. I'll talk about that later. But everything else was actually here. So to be a bit more clear with things, you can see what we've tapped now. So we have 2 iron pure nodes tapped right there and 2 others right here. So obviously that's 6, 12, 18, 2,400 per minute. I think this build requires 2,100, so it's a little excess. But still good to have. We've now also got the pure limestone out this way and the normal limestone out this way. Previously, we just had the 1, but now we need so much more concrete that we had to tap 2 other nodes as well. The copper node, unfortunately, is an impure node, meaning we're not getting nearly enough of what we need, even though we only need about 200. It can't quite make that for me, so we could either go east and get the copper from here, or improve the aluminum factory such that we can get more copper out of this area. And we can do that by using a better recipe. So I'll probably do that instead, and that way it's close enough to this factory that it won't be too hard just to divide some over, or bring some over for us. Alright, so now you know roughly what we're going to be doing. We obviously have the to-do list on the right-hand side of the screen. A little difficult to see, I'll just look up at the ceiling. We're going to be boosting Petroleum Coke first, then doing our logistics, and then working on the refinement and foundry level of this place. So I thought I would just really quickly show as well one of the extraction resource rooms, because we've had to increase the volume. I might change that. There seems to be a wall underneath here, is there? Yeah. I'll leave that for a moment then. Anyways, we have several miners in all these different places, all coalescing into this one room and sending up 4 different belts up this way. So I think it's something like 600 iron, a small amount of limestone, then 600 limestone, then 600 iron again. So everything's just kind of feeding up there. So everything's pretty much ready in the upstairs area for us to begin building. We just need to bring over the remaining petroleum coke that I haven't yet gotten. So we're just going to fly really quickly just over to this new area that I've just built as well. It's again my classic staircase with the hypertube in the middle, except this one's a little different. It has a belt flowing up it as well. And that's going to lead out to this new bridge that we just built, all the way out to this little limestone node as also. And this is the one that's not doing very much. This one's only doing 96 per minute. So I can talk about the full rates a little later, so that we can really get a grasp on things. So until we start putting machines down, it's just kind of pointless until you can actually see the recipes that we're properly working with, or if I fully outline that kind of sign area. Alright, I really like the look of this, by the way. I tried to make sure that I didn't destroy those trees. A great way to do that is just fill up your inventory, take out a chainsaw, and then knock one tree down at a time. So I made sure that we left trees standing either side. Really like the look of that. Okay, so we're going to head over to my oil processing facility. My oil processing facility, we already make somewhere close to, I think we make 1,200 petroleum coke. So I think the numbers basically work out like this. Well, one oil node will give you basically, I think it's like 400 heavy oil residue. And from that 400 heavy oil residue, you can then make 1,200 petroleum coke. And we're going to do that a second time. So I've actually got 600 petroleum coke free, but we need about 800, so we're going to get another 1,200. That's the plan here. Now, this was a major upheaval doing this. It meant that all the stations that were affected by petroleum coke, or their layout was affected by a train that was picking up the coke, meant that they had to change. So the station up there and this station I had to insert a freight station thing, what's it called, freight platform, in the middle of the station. Really awkward thing to do. But I did it for 3 different stations, so we should be all lined up. So I put in the work behind the episodes to make sure this goes as smoothly as possible. So hopefully it does. Alright, let's just pull up somewhere around here and then we'll jump down. Alrighty. So you may have actually caught as well, I'm building a bypass to this rail. I talked about it in the previous episode, but the junctions in this place, the junctions here are actually pretty good, because there's 3 junctions out that way and then they're gated onto the main network by 1. But on the other side, there's 3 junctions leading onto the main network, and that's what caused all the traffic problems. So I need a bypass to be able to go around that and actually separate this network. This rail isn't going to be the main rail anymore. That one is, the one in the distance. Anyway. Until it gets done, you don't really need to know, I guess. Too much more than it. Alright, anyway, we're in the oil processing facility. So at the moment, the way this place works, if I recall correctly, is we have an oil node here, fully overclocked, being pumped into these 2 big vats. And then these vats flow along all of this rubber, and then all of this rubber. So I think it's 20 rubber refineries. And then they have a byproduct of heavy oil. Coincidentally, having 20 of these and having a byproduct means that we're given 400 heavy oil residue per minute. So then I made 10 refineries handling that heavy oil residue. And that's how we get our 1,200 petroleum coke. Such is the volume that they need 2 separate belts, obviously, for that. So the plan here is to try to quickly do it anyway. We're going to need 10 refineries making heavy oil and then 10 more basically making petroleum coke. So we don't really have that much room for it. So what I'm going to do is extend the factory out this way. The factory must grow all the time, of course. So let's begin that. Try to get done pretty quickly. It's a straightforward kind of build. Although I didn't blueprint anything for it. I don't think we need to. I suppose having some of the signs blueprinted might be nice, the ones on the machines. I'll have a quick look and see if we actually have some already. I just realized, is that gonna... Yeah. Do I have a... I didn't bring my fuel with me. But I have nobelisks. I don't have my nobelisks with me. Oh my god, I'm gonna have to run and get some. I think there's some in the foyer of this factory, so back in a sec. Alright, there we go. So that is all the trees removed there. I think with the way the hill is, this area might need to actually be raised versus the floor that we're currently dealing with right now. Bit of a shame, but we could do it no problem. Because I think some of the grass and stuff starts to jut out. Yeah, it's only very slightly, but to future-proof ourselves, we might as well just add a little layer above this. Should the factory grow yet again, although this place really is tapped for resources now, so I don't see it growing again. Except higher. That could be a potential, but not longer. So let's drag this all the way to about there. So what we're going to need is 20 refineries, and have to lay them all out. So yeah, let's just add another... I suppose to make it as seamless as possible, this really should just be raised another 4. So we'll just do that. I might change this to... Do we need to change it to concrete or asphalt or something? Not too sure how I did the insides in there. It's metal, so we'll keep it as metal. I'm just low on steel beams. Alright, there we go. We are paved out of our minds, pretty much. Yeah, I'm just out of steel beams now. So hopefully I've got what I need to make the refineries. Yeah, you just need steel pipes. So let's do 10. And I don't know if I've got my recipes. There we go. 10 refineries. Let's try another 10. Yeah, we're going to be a little low on steel pipes. That's alright though, we got some nearby. Okay, so we need to leave it some... I'll start from the inside out actually, because this is the where the terrain is most awkward. And we'll start maybe about over here. And this is going to be taking fresh oil. Yeah, okay. And it has to come in from there. So I'll actually have to move it to about here. So we'll start with the refinery right about there. And we'll just do 10 of these in a row. But before I do, let me just check. Machines, refinery ×3. This kind of hooks them all up with some basic stuff, but it does not have a sign on it. What about refinery rubber? Rubber resin. Refinery with coke. That's basically actually what I need. Yeah. And that's the out and that's the in. Yeah, sure, let's do this then. It just comes pre-baked with some signs, so that just makes it life a little easier. Start about there. So it's 4, 5. So yeah, this will have to come out quite a bit more actually. So just temporarily, because I'm desperate, I'm just going to grab this. Although I do actually think there's steel in the foyer in this place as well, actually, a big box of it. Don't know if it's beams or not, but... So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we need 4 more. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go get some steel so I can extend this place out. Alright, let's get our 11th one. Well, what is it? Sorry, 10th one in, and then we'll build the remaining 10. Alright, so they're not actually going to be doing Petroleum Coke. It just looks that way. This will just be doing the regular... Let's see what it's going to be doing. So, heavy oil residue, right? This is the recipe that gives you the most heavy oil, but we're going to have this byproduct of resin, which we could do other things with, but for the moment I might just sink it. Okay, so it's 30 per minute, and so that means in total 300. So let's grab this and just join it into here. Alright, and the one in the end. Let's just get rid of that one, and then we can just rebuild it as a blueprint just to match how everything else has been done. Oh, I've no flipping ammo with me. See, I dumped a lot of my stuff before I began this episode at the factory I came from. So, I actually have 500 ammo back there as well. I keep running back and forth over there. I'm just trying to think what else is going on. So, we've got our 10 refineries, and we need to make sure we're doing the right amount of oil. That's it. Okay, so this needs to be able to do 300. It is. Yes, 300 is the best it can do. So perfect. It works out. So we'll feed that over in just a moment, but let's just say that, you know, somewhere here, oil gets fed into this, and it flows along, and these are all going to be doing heavy oil with a little bit of polymer resin on the side. So we'll just copy the setting on that one, and just paste it over to every other refinery that we have. And then we'll get the actual Petroleum Coke refineries. So these are going to go into Petroleum Coke. And it can pretty much just face out the exact same way. Now, I want to get that first one just right. So that's the input. It's going to be coming from this place. So maybe even there is probably okay. But I suppose somewhere on the edge, like this, is usually a bit better. The edge of the foundation, I mean. Alright, so we need another 10. And these should be pretty quick to pop these down. Yep. Alright, there we have it. Is this even aligned? Oh my god. It's perfect. How much is each one of these putting out then? 40? And you're just taking in 40, are you? Oh my god, you could just feed 1 to 1. I've never actually even done that before. That's kind of cool. Totally meant to do that. Let's see. Let's just get rid of those. And then we can get rid of all these pipes and then just extend them 1 to 1 with all the machines. Alright, nice. I mean, you could be way closer then if I really wanted to, but at least this gives us a walkway between them, and we're fine for space out here, so. Okay, so pipeline Mark 1, no indicator. Oh, how good is that? I can't believe I've never done that before. Just where it just goes from one refinery into the next. We've always looped it around or added other things onto them. Now, in terms of getting the petroleum coke to where it needs to go, might be a little awkward, but hopefully not too bad. Cool. Alright, so the resin will have to go up and over and get out of here somehow. Should be easy enough. Let's just do a merger in... Does it make sense to do it in the middle? Yeah. And it doesn't need to go any higher than just 2. So that could just flow up that way. I don't know if there's a problem with that. You could obviously build a lift, but the lifts would mean it would have to go even higher. And I don't really want to go much higher than that. It's only 20 per minute. Okay, I guess the belt is fairly steep, so fair enough. You got me. And then when we're doing it, we could just do this, right? Just rotate around, and they just fit in super nicely. Ah, so it's not quite in the center. It looks like we've given ourselves a little bit more space on this side than we had to. In fact, it looks like I gave it just 1. Maybe 2. I just want to test out something, because I might actually move them all forward. Just trying to gauge the height. Sorry, it's supposed to go like that. Yeah, that looks like where it should be. Okay, so it has to come back over 2. Alright, let me just get rid of this. I'll get rid of this. And then when I place these down, I'll just nudge them too. So we'll have to, unfortunately, undo all this, but I'll just skip this out for you guys. I just realized what I've just done. I don't know why I felt the need to do that. The output of this produces polymer resin. I've connected it to this machine for no reason. Nothing happens in here. I don't know why I did that. Oh well. Oh well, it's not that bad anyway, but at least the spacing between them is now even. It'll make the walkways actually look nicer, but it's just funny. I just didn't even think of it until the last one was kind of hooked up there. I was like, wait, why does that go into this other machine? It doesn't need to. Alright. So this is just for the polymer resin to find a way out over to recycling. And then we'll just grab this, and I think if I drag it from here, there we go. Get them to line up pretty nicely. Alright, there we go. So we're all hooked up. That's the polymer resin out, and that's all of the heavy oil going straight into the Petroleum Coke machines. So no problem there. In fact, I just realized this can probably be turned into gold, and that can become black. And we can actually just paint these machines correctly as well. I always do black and gold on these things. So this is just taking oil. And then I'll just copy and paste their image thing a little later. Alright, that was pretty quick. Not bad at all. We just need to find a way out for the polymer resin and then somewhere for the Petroleum Coke to go. So, just before I do anything crazy with it, what's down here? Nothing. What's in here? There's oil. Okay. So this will probably be chopped away, and we'll have another second oil line running parallel to the one that we have. But then another line out for the Petroleum Coke and such to get out of here. Something like this. In fact, oil can even just go straight from where... Yeah, like over here. So a nice wall hole might be good here. There we go. Alright, so wall hole right in the center. Boom. We'll grab this. Only needs to be a Mark 1 anyway. Let's just get it to go... there. Alright, cool. Alright, and that'll be oil just flowing along that way. Let's grab this and bring it all the way over to your little buddy. Pipeline Mark 1, no indicator. Just keep flowing. We'll move the stairs that leads out here in a bit. And then you'll have to just come up and join into here. The head lift should be no problem. Alright, I don't know why that was so tedious, but I've got it aligned now, so all good, no problem. Let's just do that, and paint that one. Alright, so that is 300 oil flowing along into all these refineries. The refineries are sending 40 heavy oil residue into these refineries, and these ones are going to be making the Petroleum Coke. So, we need two separate belts taking this coke out of here and then bringing it up to a place I've already designated and added it to the train stations. So we'll just have a look at where we're going to go with it, and then I'll add the belts in between. So basically, the other Petroleum Coke is flowing up towards here, and then any fall off is going into the recyclers. The holes I've made for the other two are just right next to it, so that's where we're headed. So it should be easy enough. It just means that, yeah, we'll have to... well, I guess I'll leave that for a moment. Let's just get the lineup correct. So there's all the space under here, actually, the travel belts along, which is quite nice. And then they need to come out this way. So let's grab our belts. Maybe something like this. And then another one there. Alrighty, so everything is now basically in place for us to just connect a few of the cables, power it on, and see if it all works. It took a little bit longer than I'd anticipated, as these things often do, and that's basically because of the polymer resin byproduct that comes out of here. I'd forgotten to kind of factor that in, that we want this to go to the recyclers. So, if we cut away the floor down here, we now have 3 belts going parallel to each other, leading out towards the kind of recycling area and towards where the Petroleum Coke goes upstairs. And that just meant having to shift things around a little bit. So we've got one belt dedicated to doing all of the petroleum, or half of the Petroleum Coke. So that's 120 times 5. So that's going to be 600. So 600 traveling on one belt, 600 on another. And then we have, I'm not actually sure how much polymer resin. 20 times, so 200. So we've got 200 polymer resin then traveling out. And that's traveling on the middle belt, I think. Or in the one that's going to end up being the middle. So we have this nice looking three stack layer of belts then that come out here. So that's polymer resin in the middle, and then petroleum coke on the top and bottom. Now, where it looks nice there, it's great. Hey, Darren did a great job, didn't he? So good. Oh, not great. So that's because we've got three belts traveling really close together, and then they all need to kind of merge onto a sort of vertical stackable situation. Now I can do that a little bit better. I know how to do it, but I was thinking when I'm going to move the walkways and the glass and stuff, all this stuff is going to kind of go away now that the building is extending out slightly. Then I'll probably configure it correctly. The other thing that took me a while was this. In fact, let's just power it on now. So if we want to get that oil rolling, we just connect to here. And if we want to get these rolling, we'll just connect this to up here. And of course, I will tuck away the power later. In fact, I've put this as a pole here, so it's really obvious to me what to get rid of later. So, that's going to be our 300 oil per minute. Flowing along this way, out you go, underneath, tucked away, and then up and over out to here. So we'll check on that in just a moment. Now, the products that come out of here, the petroleum coke that's traveling along 600, up to the top, goes straight into this smart splitter, and it goes into this industrial storage container, and then upstairs. Now, if it gets backed up, it'll go out this way, and then into this merger, and then that merger will take it downstairs onto another merger, and basically bring it out here. So this is like way too complicated to even bother explaining, and I also think it doesn't need to be this complicated, because I've just decided to stack it all really close together, which is why it looks like such a mess. But what's happening, why you're seeing a little stuttering, which is coincidence because I'm stuttering trying to say the word stuttering. What's basically happening there is too much is flowing onto one belt right now, and that won't be a problem in the future. At least it shouldn't be. We produce 2,400 petroleum coke here, and we should be using 2,400, slightly less than 2,400 on the map. And we can actually see some of our polymer resin is now joining onto that one belt. Anyway, ideally, if this place is always running, this one belt should be more than enough to handle all the petroleum coke and anything extra coming out of here. So it should be fine. It's not going to be until we queue up this new factory that this will actually work as effectively as it should, but it should eventually be fine. Alright, so that's basically it. So let's have a look. We've seen some petroleum coke coming out, which is good, and we can follow that upstairs just to see is it going correctly into the station. If it is, then we're going to build a new train and hook it all up, ride our way back to Heavy Modular Frame Factory. So yep, there we go, 98%, so far so good. Of course we're going to be feeding this whole place, so it's going to take a little while for the manifold to get up and running to full capacity. Yeah, so it's going to take a little while for it to get going, but each machine is feeding each machine directly, so in theory they should actually speed up after not too long. It's really just a matter of that first oil pipe filling up each machine. Once each machine is filled up with the oil, yeah, we should be 1-to-1 then from then on, because it's making a consistent amount of heavy oil, and it's just feeding directly into the machine in front of it. So it should be pretty quick after that. 120 per minute, 12 at a time. So every 6 seconds you're throwing out 12 of these. And they're coming out fairly slowly on a Mark II belt and then zooming along on a Mark V. Alright, great. Done. So let's just run upstairs and check that everything's working. Adding another train to this network has me a little bit nervous, but hopefully it'll be okay. We'll manually drive it out of here for the first time, I think. And then I'll have to, yeah, find a way to tuck this away and make it look a little bit neater. But that's pretty much, this could be this factory done for a long time, because there's no more space or deposits or anything to really utilize. It's more about things that just come in here, and I think we're kind of maxed out for things that come in here in terms of the freight capacity and everything. We're utilizing all the oil and all of that. Alright, here we are at the train stations. This is the oil plant deliveries. That's the super long... Why is that just hanging down there, by the way? Oh, it just disappeared. There was one crane just hanging down. Alright, and then we have the exports line. So this is the important line for us, because it's used so much. This is where we make our turbo fuel, our plastic, our coke, our rubber. So basically, this didn't exist before. It used to be 2 rubber here, but now we've got 2 coke in the middle. There's one train already dealing with it, so this is going to be the second train that's going to deal with it. So we'll put down 2. And we'll have to make a train that comes in here similar to that one. Now hopefully I'm not affecting anything by just dropping a train right now. So let's just do that behind this signal. Okay. And then I think we'll need 6 cars. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. There we go. So 7 in total if you include the locomotive. Alright, so we'll edit our timetable. We'll say that we want to go to the heavy modular frame imports station, and we want to unload Petroleum Coke. I don't know why I'm scrolling. We'll just type Petroleum Coke. Okay. And then we also want to say that we want to come here, of course, to the oil plant exports, and you got to pick up Petroleum Coke. And I think that's it. So we'll just shift this on top, hit save, turn on, and now we are hopefully part of the train network. So just to make sure that this is working, yes it is. So we've already filled up 2,800 and whatever, and this one's totally full as well. So whoop, I'm gonna get out of the way there. Ah, hang on, I'm confused. Oh no, the other carriages weren't connected correctly. Oh crap, I'll have to go back. That's funny. Yeah, cancel docking as well. Just let that do its thing. I'll have to pull out, get the freight cars, rejoin them. I think I've got enough to add on to now. 1. Alright, give me those ones back. I don't think I've ever done that before. Oh, there's 3. Shit. Alright, we're hooked in. Good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, cool. We're good. So I'll just reverse and then let this train pick this stuff up again. Oh, there's a train behind me now. Well, you know what? I guess it's fine. Let's just hit start. Go, go, go. Just get out of here. Yeah, do we need to see downstairs? Not really. If you've seen the Petroleum Coke area before, basically the 2 belts that flow up go into a box and then they go into the station. It's not really that complicated. So just wait for our path signal to be clear. The big oil train is just passing by. And we're going to be taking our first little batch of Petroleum Coke up to the heavy modular frame factory. The fused frame factory. I need to get in the habit of calling it that. So we're still locked here for a while because it's checking the signal after. But it really should be checking that one. That's the thing I don't really get about path signals all the time. It checks the initial signal, so that block... Oh, is that a path one as well? Maybe that's part of it. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, in my testing, it's like path to block to block. Path signal always has to check its next block signal to see if it's free, and then the one after that to see is it somewhere it can go. Alright, anyway, we're good to go. Like I said, that place has to be redone in terms of... I mean, adding this train to that really does make me feel like it's going to be too much. Because now when they start piling up to weight, they're going to start blocking junctions. Because there's too many trains on the network going into the one place. Yeah. Alright, we're going to pass by a little bypass around here. So this will actually be a turn off to go into the factory rather than a bypass around it in future. We're getting busy now. I think we've only got 7 trains. It's not that much. Alright, let's see if this works. First time actually delivering something in here. Oh, thinking about it, the place isn't powered. So, the unloading won't actually work for the first time. Not that it really matters. Yeah, it's more just important to see that it's lining up at the right place. Cool. And hopefully I've judged it correctly. So it's this one and then the other one, I think. So Petroleum Coke, yeah. Cool. Alright, that'll be good. And is this set to unload?
Well, we can't access it now, but also I think it needs to be... Oh, wait, it would be powered, wouldn't it? Because it's a train. You know what? I don't think I had it set to unload, so it didn't actually do it. It is set to unload, so why didn't it? Alright, here we are on the top floor. So this is the floor above logistics. The floor below me is the logistical floor. So in here, we have water waiting to be tapped. We have lots of the train stations in and outs, right? So it's the anything going out, the things coming in. I've got this just telling me, you know, Coke is going to be coming in at 780 per minute, at least in terms of the belt speed. But in reality, it'll be 1800. So yeah, 1800 divided by 4. So what is that? So each belt is going to be carrying 450. In theory, I guess I could change the belts to be the 480 belt, and that way we just kind of understand how much is really on each one. Anyway, it's just something to think about when we're dividing up where these things are going to go. The other thing in this place is, so the nitrogen gas is over there. Then we have, I think it's iron and limestone over here. So it's going to be iron 600, 600, and then this is copper, actually. I should say copper. Can't remember how much, but it's somewhere in the realm of 200, so we'll just put a little asterisk next to that. Okay, and then the final thing is just over on the far end, all the way over here. We have limestone and iron coming up as well. Now, this is like the hidden floor, right? So we just have to ultimately feed this stuff upstairs. So iron 600, limestone 96, limestone 600, and iron 600. So yeah, that's pretty much it. All right. Let's drag this out. So the annoying thing is when you're building floor holes, it has to be placed on a foundation the size that the floor hole you want to be. And the max size of a floor hole is 4 meters. When trying to put a floor hole on 2 sets of one, like a one foundation and another, it doesn't work. You have to delete it and then put it back on. So some of these will actually have to be deleted, but it still lets me kind of gauge what I have to do. So just wherever I'm building a floor hole, basically, before I put the floor hole down, I know that I just have to remove it and then start building again. All right, let's hop upstairs. I vaguely know where I want to start with this. It's based on this kind of layout. We kind of have this little extra bit here rather than in here. So I thought this would be a nice bit to stick some of the refineries. There's a few refineries where we only need 6.
So a little bit of time has passed and the train has come through the station multiple times making successful deliveries. So not really too sure what was wrong with it before, but it now has 9,000 Petroleum Coke in this one and 8,000 in that one. So yeah, all seems to be working pretty much fine. All right, so let's go upstairs. We're going to get building, plopping down some machines pretty quickly. So what we're going to be working on is this one. This refinery here doing 6 machines, 5.68 machines. Copper ore in, water in, and copper ingots out. Now, the interesting thing about the water is it's a pretty small amount. It's 56.88. And that's actually the reason that we have one pipe here that is not a Mark II. It's a Mark I pipe. So that pipe is hooked up to just one water extractor, which is underclocked to 60. So that's more than enough, or more than we need for this. The other 2 pipes are doing 540 each evenly to make that 1080 that's required for making the wet concrete. So all we need to know really is that we're going to be making refineries here with just one of the water pipes that's coming from the logistical floor downstairs. So logistical floor is just down there. All right. So what we need to do is grab this, drag this one out, bring it to me, and then blueprints. We're going to click one of my temporary blueprints. Refinery copper ingot with a floor hole. So for some reason this, well, I guess it's fine. I was gonna say, for some reason this is actually containing a piece of concrete on it, which I'll just have to delete, but not a big deal. So we want it to face this way. Boom. And just to make life easier for putting all of these in, I guess, and getting rid of the concrete easily, just get rid of this bit of the floor. So we only needed 6 of these machines. So we'll just activate the blueprint mode and just kind of snap to the other blueprints, just like this. So 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And that's the one that'll have to be underclocked. Alright, looking good. Yep, room to walk on this side. And this is where they're going to be getting their stuff from. Cool. That's where the concrete is, or sorry, not concrete, copper is going to flow back down.
So I'll just get rid of the concrete here. And we can close this over now that the floor holes are like in place. And I might be changing the materials and everything. I just like using metal because we can obviously see very easily the grid space that I'm working with. So yeah, using a little bit of a different color palette for this one. A bit more of a muted turquoise color and an orange color. Very similar to the Fix-It default theme. And then using those colors on a matte signage for our refineries. Okay, cool. So do we want to do the logistics of this one or just put down more machines? Well, I guess let's see. So the next thing would be adding, let me count it up, 10 more refineries doing limestone and the other water. And then we could hook up the water all together. Maybe that would make a bit more sense. So that means that we need to give it some space and then add 10 more refineries in this direction. And maybe we could face it the opposite way. So let's go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's see, did I blueprint this? Looks like I did. Aha, so this one doesn't actually include the weird concrete I had. The concrete, surprisingly, is actually kind of helpful. So maybe I will just snap it onto the blueprint right now. Alright, so there it is. So let's just do this. There we go, I think that'll do it. So that's concrete, a bit more aligned with the center of the actual machine, and as far back as it can go in the blueprint designer. I don't know if that's correct, but it should make things a little bit easier to use. So let's just clear the designer, take this away. Let's try that again. So open our blueprint, go to wet concrete. It's facing the right way now, and we can just look at the concrete and bring it to me. And yeah, we've got a lot of space in this place, so I don't mind just slamming it down like that. That's totally fine. That's good, right? Because now, on the end of the half foundation here, that's where both of these things end. So we have a foundation and 2 halves to be able to walk. So we can build a walkway of 2 foundations between the 2, if we wanted to. Alright, so we need 10 of these, so a lot more. I don't even know if I have the material for all that, but let's just see really quickly. So we need 9 more. What am I missing? Copper sheet and reinforced iron plates. Okay, I think I can get them. I've got a box full of that stuff downstairs. Not sure. Yeah, copper I should be fine, actually. The reinforced iron plates, maybe not. Alright, I'm out of copper sheeting, but I've got enough to build these ones anyway, and then I'll have to make a run for it. Should be easy enough to snap these in, though. So let's go like this. So that's 2, 3, 4, and we have our counter on the right side now to make it a lot easier for us. Alright, and what we can do is look at this one, hold our hotkey just to get rid of one single item, look up in the air, get rid of it, and there we go. I'll just bring this all the way back. Alright, nice. There we have it. Another row of machines. So I've painted them the same even though they're doing different things. I'm happy with that though. I want to keep more consistency in this place. So it's 1,200 limestone that's needed, right? It's going to be 1,296 specifically. Oh, right. We actually need 11. Yeah, we need 11, not 6 or not 10. So one more please if we can manage it. That's why we go over that number just slightly. Cool. All right, there we go. So this one will have to be underclocked. What is it looking to make? Actually not sure, but it needs to go to 80%. Yeah, so it's just a flat 80%, 64. Cool. Yeah, that's going to give us 864. So 864. Nice. And we'll just tell this that it's obviously a little lower now. So that's going to be 80%. Boom. So I need to be put in the center more. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, it's center aligned already, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. Alright, that says 80%. And then for the other refineries, the 6 refineries doing copper ore, so we need one of them underclocked to 68%. And there's actually a very specific number. It's 68 I think it's 889? Very specific, but there you go. So 68.88 we'll just say for this. All right, cool. Copy that. I think that's a nice color, especially during the daytime. I was playing around with more muted tones and quite happy with how it looks. Alrighty, so there's our first batch of refineries. So the next one is going to be foundries. So what does it take to make a foundry? Oh, actually I've blueprinted it. So how many of these do we need? If I look over my thing, we're going to need 24 of them. So I'm missing some concrete, iron plates. We've got all of this, so we should be able to build this fairly quickly as well. And now look at this, we can see all our floor holes coming in. That's so nice, cool. So concrete. Concrete's in a different place, but we can grab these plates. Oh, it's reinforced iron plates. Reinforced iron plates are here. Alright, and concrete's going to be way off down this way. Oh, nice. I actually have copper sheets here. I won't have to go too far for them, but not in the much. Got 600. Alright, cool. And do I have enough quartz crystal? Alright, looking good, feeling good. Nice sunny day to be doing this kind of thing. I don't know if it's just something that's been on my mind lately. I've definitely noticed that I've never, not to just suddenly randomly get heavy, but I've never really suffered from depression or anything like that. But last year, for the first time, I kind of did around winter. Not too bad, you know, compared to, I know some people that have it, that live with it, very serious clinical depression and stuff. I think I had SAD, that seasonal affective disorder. And it was pretty rough, just for about a month, but it kind of got better then. And it sucks, you know, I can't imagine having it every day, the way some people do. But this year again, it happened again, but not for that long. Very short amount of time. And just today, it's Easter Sunday as I'm recording, and the last week has just been fairly sunny where I am in South England. I just feel way better. Like I'm in a really good mood. And I feel like even in game, when the sun's out, things are all right. So yeah, I don't know. I just felt like sharing that, but there you go. All right, anyways, that's all good. So ultimately, the next thing then is blocking out. I think we need 24 foundries. So 24. What will that be by 4? 6 rows. But actually, what we should look at is their output. So these foundries are going to be putting out 2,388 steel ingots. We'll just say 2,400. And they're basically taking in 1,800 ore and petroleum coke. That's a lot. That's so much that we can't even fit it on one belt, right? So let's go, 780 is our max belt, so we need at least 3 belts. 480 is the next belt down. 3.75. What is the next belt below that one? 270. 6. Okay, so I'm thinking what we could do is if we need 24 machines, we could divide it by 3, and we'd have 8 in a row, and we can do that. We'll have enough belt space for that. Because 780 times 3 is 2,340. Oh, it's not enough then. Oh, no, it is. It is. Yeah. It's actually not enough on the way out, I think. Yeah, it won't be enough for the output. The output is 2,400. So dividing that by 3, there's no belt that could take 3 lanes out. We'll have to do 4 lanes, and then every belt will be carrying 600 out, or thereabouts. I don't know if that math makes sense, but yeah, so what we're going to need to do then is go 24 divided by 4, which is 6, totally fine, so we need 6 foundries in a row. Now, I'm just wondering, should we build them this way, lengthways, or this way? Not too sure. So, what's coming out of here? You know, copper is coming out of here, and concrete. these foundries don't need to use any of that. It's kind of separate. So either way, these are flowing down and out to some other part of the factory. I'm thinking keep it in a line, just because these are all in a line. Might look a bit nicer that way. Alright, so blueprints. We'll have a look at our foundry. So this is what we're going to be using. So I'll need to chop away the floor altogether. Oh, by the way, I've just seen my trains have gotten backed up. So in between episodes, I'm going to have to finish the bypass. The bypass will solve it. I'm keenly confident that that will happen. But yeah, adding another train. There's 5 trains that use the oil processing plant exports. Just that specific junction. It's the middle junction. And the trains are quite long and everything. So they're all getting backed up with that. But I'll get to it. I'll figure it out. Don't worry. Okay, so if I just look at the gaps between here, what we did last time was a half foundation, a full one, and then another half. So we want to start somewhere like here. We'll get a blueprint. We'll go with the steel. And then it'll be turned sideways. Well, actually, no, it won't. It'll be like this. Yeah, something roughly about there, I think. These don't really line up with the foundation perfectly, but something like there is where we're going to need it. So let's just go like this and get our first one down, and then it should be relatively easy after that to line them up. I'll pick up those. Is there anything I could just get rid of? Maybe 9 jetpack fuel. Right. I think I needed to be in this... Oh, I can actually see the machine now, which is nice. I feel like I need a lookout tower. Or a hover pack, I guess, but this place isn't powered right now. The train station is, but I haven't extended power anywhere. Alright, this is better. Alright, so there we go. There's our foundry, and we know how far we can bring it over now to get that half foundation. So that's about half foundation alignment. And that's where it'll start. So there's one. And I'm happy with the inputs being at the back and the output at the front. Yep. So we're going to have 6 of these. Just make sure that that's okay. Let's just close this over. Just have a look at what we've just done. Alright, obviously we have the graphical oddities with the lifts, but that should be okay. The color I've gone for here is the color of like steel pipes, roughly speaking. It's kind of a darkened red and black. Also looks kind of weathered when you kind of just darken it naturally. Ooh, it doesn't actually have its thing. Maybe we should do that real quickly then. Let's just type blueprint designer, load up that blueprint, fix it, and then we can just add them next to each other. Right, so the recipe we're using is this one. This one? This one. So 15 iron ore and 15 petroleum coke. Coke steel ingot. That's the name of it. Coke steel ingot. 75, 75, and 100 out. So 75 in, 75 in. That's why we've got a Mark II and a Mark II. And then we've got a Mark II out. Cool. All right. Save that. Now that we've just set its actual recipe, get rid of this. Go back to blueprints. We'll open up foundry. And then, like we said, we need 6 of these. So that's another one. That's 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we could just keep adding on and do another 6 in a line, but I'll probably just do another group here and another group there. I think that'll just make a bit more sense. And then when I reload the game, it should look a bit better, but we can see that our recipe is now saved. We don't have to apply it anymore. So this is ending just as one begins, so this will have to start on this one then. If you want to keep the spacing the same, which I do. Alright, something like that. Let's get our lookout tower. Whoop. Alrighty. So I don't know if we can easily align it with our buddy over there. There we go. We've got a line. I assume that means something is aligned. So let's do it that way. I'll just hop down. I don't know why I made the gap so big. Alright. 2, 3, 4, 5, and then one more. 6. Lovely. Alright, we'll just do it again. So now we are on the half foundation mark again, which is perfect. Means we're doing this very good, I think. So a gap there, and then we start in the half this way. So we'll have to just remove these ones. We'll just start up here again. And we'll build our lookout tower. Alright, that should be the half foundation mark right there, I think. Sweet. Alright, so the last few. Oh wait, no, there's going to be 4 rows, isn't there? Yeah. Thought there was only 3. I'll have to do this another one more time after this. Okay, very last time then. So we've got 2 foundation gap. Just come up here. Super simple. Hack these 2 away. Build our lookout tower. I guess just to be safe, just get rid of these 2 as well. Interesting that we're getting a little close to the gas. The nitrogen gas. But we can always just filter it and bring it around. That's the benefit of having those logistical floors. You can just hide things away kind of nicely and tuck them away. Alright, so bonk. 6 more to go. Get it lined up with the green line. And then this will be right on the edge and right there. Hopefully downstairs this all makes sense as well. I didn't even think to check that. Okay, the final 5. Don't give me any grief. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And that's it. So, obviously we have these graphical issues, but once we reload, they will go away. But that's basically what we're looking at now. So these machines don't have any numbers or anything. I'd be tempted to put some on them. I know that I didn't do it in the blueprint, but it would be kind of nice to number them to some extent. I like the colors, think they're good. This place will probably be rocking concrete of some sort or asphalt. And then we'll have walkways going in between them. Not too high up, just above the lifts. Alright, so that's refinement and foundry done. The next one will be assembly and construction, then blending and manufacturing. But because of the train issues, I don't know if we've got a full episode here, but if we have, I'm going to call it there. So we've got all of the refiners in place, almost all of the foundries. There's a little bit more to be done. Just going to head downstairs really quickly and look at the kind of board one more time for what we've just checked off and what we haven't. Right, so the foundry, so these ones we haven't done yet. The 6 foundries doing iron ingots. The 7 foundries, I should say. So 7 foundries doing iron ingots. We have done these ones, so that's done. The constructors are not done yet. The refinement process for the copper ingots is done, and the refinement process for the concrete is done. So basically we've knocked off that board, knocked off that one, and we've delivered petroleum coke in here, and I've jacked up my entire rail network in the process. But that's going to have to be it for this episode, I think. And in the next one, we'll just continue building out the next floor and adding I'll kind of start hooking these things up together. Very last thing, actually, to look up. I am curious to see it. I think it's part of the payoff, is how does our logistics floor look now? Because, of course, I did spec them to be at the correct height. Might have the doorway there, actually, in the future. Make more sense. But yeah, this is what we got downstairs now. So it's nice to have all this in place for me. This can be often very tedious, lining these things up. And once we reload the game, all the tubes will flow into the things correctly. And then we can just hook these up on belts and then decide where they need to go. So yeah, very organized. I think this is a good way of doing things. We have our different resources then coming up this way. The iron and such that can just flow straight into these machines, basically. And yeah, we've got nitrogen gas, which can easily just move around it. It's not in the way or too close or anything. We're getting pretty close to the railway, though, I guess. So we'll just have to bear that in mind. But we've got all this space above me here. Room for more of those foundries, right? We had 6 other foundries to do, and then the floor above is going to be like all constructors. I think we need like 100 in total or something. So quite a lot. All right, so chop this away is the final thing to do. Bonk. And that is going to be it for today. Fun one. I'm having fun with this build now. Really, really liking it as it's coming together. and I'm excited to get those fused modular frames. And then we can start doing more specialized things. I think I'll have to do a computer factory, but then also we can do the cooling system and the heatsink. They seem easy enough. Just requires lots of materials, and we can explore the map for that. Very excited for Update 8. Looking forward to Unreal Engine 5. Hopefully it doesn't break things too badly. Alright, that's going to be it for me. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching the video. Consider liking it if you enjoyed it, subscribe for more, and if you want to support even further, consider becoming a channel member. Channel members get early access to my videos, ad-free, and also access to my Discord, where we've just set up a new Valheim and Satisfactory server for people to play on. Hopefully we can grow a community and add more games and perks in the future. Either way, I appreciate people just watching this far into the video. Thank you.